Aloha and welcome. In this chapter, we're going to be talking about the LED bar, and this is a neat project. We are going to simulate flowing light, essentially, and to do this, we're going to use the following components. We're going to use our Pico W, we're going to use our micro USB connector, we're going to have our breadboard, we're going to need 11 jumpers, which aren't mentioned in here. We're going to need our LED bar graph, and we're also going to need 10 220 ohm resistors. So what we're going to be doing here is, first of all, we're going to use the bar graph LED. It has 10 LEDs integrated in one compact component, and the two pins, or the two row pins at its bottom are paired to identify each LED with the, just like the single LED used earlier. So anyway, you can look over here and see that it's the schematic symbol for the LED. So anyhow, if we go down and take a look at the circuit layout, you see that on the Pico, we're going to be using a lot of different GPIOs here. So we're going to be using a bunch, we're going to be using 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 over here. We're going to skip over the run. We're going to go up to the 26, 27, skip over. You can follow basically the lines for each one here. And each one we're going to attach to the LED pin, and then on the other side of it, we're going to have a resistor that goes all the way into the ground rail. So what that looks like on the breadboard is this. So we have our LED bar here, and we're going to start by taking ground and attaching it to the ground rail here. And then from the ground rail, for each pin on the LED graph here, we're going to have one 220 ohm resistor that goes from the power rail ground over to the pin itself. And then on the other side, we're just going to take a jumper wire and run it to the first available GPIO pin. But do note, we're not going to be using ground over here, skipping run as well. So do look out for those things. Make sure before you run power to it that you are properly plugged in on your wires up there. So the code for this project looks like the following. It's quite simple, actually. We do our regular imports here, and then we have our pins. We set up a list of pins, and these are the pins, the GPIO pins I was just showing you. And then we define a function that's going to show LED. And all that does is it goes one by one through our list, and it prints out for us to see on the computer the pin number. And then it goes ahead and it sets up the pin as a pin out for each one. And then it goes and it sends a value of 1 to it, which is to turn on the LED. Then it sleeps for 100 milliseconds. Then it's going to bring it low, so it's going to turn off the LED, and then it's going to sleep again. And then it's going to loop, and it's going to do the next one and the next one all the way down the line. And then we're going to reverse that list, and we're going to run it backwards. So we'll start with the last one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to set it up as, you know, that one is pin out, and we're going to run it high. So we're going to light it up. We're going to sleep. We're going to turn it off. We're going to sleep again. And we're just going to go through all that. And because we're looping it, you know, eternally here, we just call on show LED function right there. So it's a very simple program. So this won't take much learning there, but now we're going to have to do the fun part, which is assembling everything, because this one is a little bit complicated. Not too complicated, just tedious. So let's go ahead and take a look at our screen here. So we've got our Pico on our breadboard, and we have everything labeled nicely. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the power and the ground, and we're going to run the ground to the rail. So we go over here and we take ground and we just simply connect it over here. Let me try using this finger, and we're going to just run it to the ground rail, the negative up there. So once we've done that, we've connected those two. So the next thing we want to do is take all of these nice, nifty, neato little, well, actually, before we do that, we're going to need our star of the show, which is our LED bar graph, and we're going to attach it here. And The orientation, if you get it wrong, you can always reverse it, but we just plug it in here, and that's a nice little fit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just run the resistors from here into the ground rail one by one. So we have to be very careful to make sure we're getting the right pins. So there's a little bit of a parallax view going on here. So let me make sure when I'm looking at this that I'm getting the right pins, because again, I'm watching my screen and not the actual device like I normally do. But this is what we end up doing. So I've got it into there. So now I just have to put it into that power rail. So if I'm going to line it up somewhat near there, I'll just put it right there. So yay, we got the first one done. That's awesome. So I've got it, pin 1 going over. Okay, now we do the second pin. So we're going to do the same thing. Again, as I said earlier, try to make it as close like that as you can. I wouldn't advise trimming these because we may be using those later. So let's go ahead and look for a second pin over here. So that would be right here. So we get that in, and then we look for the other side. So we have to put it into the ground rail again. So we're in. So look at it. Yep, we're in. Looks nice. Okay. So now we'll take number 3 and we'll do the same thing over here. So I think, let me, again, bear with me with my parallax view. So we put it into the third, and then we go over here and we look for our available power rail, ground power rail. There we go. It's right here. So we put it in there. So now we have 3. So far, so good. Let's take number 4. Wow, these are really nasty, scraggly looking leads at this point. But now we're going to look at number 4. So number 4 is going to go over here. Ta-da. And the other side of it we'll put into the ground rail again. And the ground rail, I'm looking properly, is right there. So that it's not the prettiest thing, but at least we're getting it there. As long as I'm not shorting anything out, we're all good. So let's take another one. And before long, we're going to get into a situation where we have a break, and you'll see like we have a break right here, and we're going to have to work around that, but that's no problem. It's pretty easy to work around. So let's go ahead and wire up the next one. So the next one, oops, hold on. The next one goes in there, and I will just take the other end of it and stick it into the power rail, which is right there. Oh, wait, am I going twice at once? Yeah, that would not be good. So we just go ahead and stick it right there. Let's go ahead and look at that and just make sure that we're all in separate places there. And yes, we are. So that is good. Occasionally you just have to double check that and make sure. Okay, so now we'll take the next one. So we're now halfway there. We've got another 5 to do. So we'll go ahead over here. We'll put the end into this one. But now we're going to have to, because there's no corresponding one on the other side, we have to go down one, which is no problem. Because again, as I've said, this entire rail is connected. So we can go in either one. It does not matter. Oop, and I just made my resistor suffer. Okay. So then we take the next one and we go into the we go into the breadboard over here and we look for the next one down. We connect that. Oops, or do we? Is that? Yeah. So I believe we are connected nicely. Then we go for the next one. So as you can see, this is really tedious, but it's not that bad. The only reason why it's taking me so long is because we're doing this for the video, and that takes a little bit longer. So go ahead and put that into the power rail over here. Oops, sorry. Going off screen there and you're not able to watch it, but and to make matters worse, I usually use my phone, which is recording right now. I use my phone to zoom in and make sure I've got everything right. So I'm not going to be able to do that this time, which is, yeah, a little bit nerve-wracking. That's okay. If I fry mine, everyone can laugh. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put into, yeah, next slot. Then the other rail goes into, I can't tell where. Just stay right there. Oh my, this is all wonky. I'll pull that back out, straighten it out a little bit just to make it a little bit more workable. So we'll push this up here so we can see a little bit better. I'm just going to go down here, set it in there, and then I put it into, oops, hold on, here. And we have that now. Gosh. And then you can see that we have some left here. Just going to put it into the power over there. Now let's take a look and see if we have everything there. We have, yep, so everything lines up to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So everything lines up, and I just want to make sure that we're in the power rail and we're not, or into the ground and we're not going into power anywhere. That would be a big boo-boo. Sorry, I'm not doing it where you can see. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everybody seems to be correct on that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our resistors are set up the way they should be. Not pretty, but functional is the phrase I'm looking for here. So now we set these up. This is going to be a lot easier because, yeah, this is just so much better. You know, because all we have to do is plug in our wires. So we go ahead and start our first one, and this is going to go to 16 over here. So we go ahead and do those. It's going to connect the ones that are closer together, and then we can go ahead and connect, let's see, 17 with our second header, our second lead there. Then we can go ahead and use, we've got ground for the next one. So then we go to 18 there. And I move that over to here for 18. Oops, it's starting to look a little bit nasty. But then I take, let's see if I can move it over here and make it nicer. So I've got, right here is our next one, and I'm just going to take that and I'm going to run it over. When we look over here, we see that the next one up is going to be 19, I believe. So we plug it into 19. And then we take our next one and we go into 20 and then 21. Hold on, we go into 20, run that over to here. If I can just work that. So yeah, so you can see I put it in up here. So I think that is, no, I'm actually off by 1. So I'll go ahead and put that in proper. Now I'm going to put in the 21 and run that over to here. Then I will take, so the next one over here, you see it's ground. So then we're going to skip that and we're going to go to, I believe that's 22. So we go to 22. Just make sure we're not running to ground because that would make for a bad day. Now we're going to go to, we're going to skip over this one and we're going to go into our next. If I can get that to go. All righty. Two more, bated breath here. So we're going to go into the next one over. And we're going to hook up over here. Now the last one I think is going to be right above ground. And that's right, number 28, I believe that is. And we're going to go to our last pin. So that, boys and girls, is the whole messy thing. So when we look at this, what we see is we're going to be using, programmatically, we're going to send the signal out on each one of these, and they're going to come down here. They're going to go into the LED. And on the other side, we have our resistors connected back to ground. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and plug it in because we've had it disarmed this whole time. So I'm going to plug it in. Hopefully we don't smell anything burning. Nothing is lighting up. It's still alive. We've got power running to it. Not dead yet. Okay, I'm happy. So let's move our wires over here and I will run the program that I showed you previously. So let's go ahead and run the program and let's watch what happens to our beautiful light display. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. Nope, there we go. So as you see, it's doing that loop and it's going through each pin one by one, turning it on, turning it off, and then it does a reverse of it and it goes back from the bottom to the top. Then it restarts it and it just keeps on going back and forth over and over. So this is the flowing light demo. So this is 3.1. This is the first time we're using a connected LED like this, and I really enjoy this one. But you can see from our projects before, the same idea that you run, you've got your signal that goes to the LED. Then on the other side, you've got the resistor that goes in and we go to ground. So anyhow, what's happening here is, again, we're going to go pin by pin in order, and we're going to send a high signal to it, then send a low signal to it, and then we're going to go to the next pin or the next LED light, and we're just going to do that over and over. And we could make this shorter if we wanted to. So like if I wanted to go into the code and change that to something very quick, let me do that real quick. Hold on just 1 second. And I will change this to something crazy slow or crazy fast. So now I'm going to do a reset of it. Oops, stop would help. Now I'm going to run it again. But yeah, so this is even cooler. But I think that I would, instead of calling this flowing light, what I would probably call it is Kit. There was a Knight Rider. There was a car named Kit, and it had this little thing when it talked, and it just had a light like that went back and forth. It was probably almost exactly the same thing, but it's just kind of fun to mess around with it. And we could also have it just randomly light up different ones here. So yeah, that could be fun too. But actually, hold on, I'll go ahead and try to randomly select. No, let's not do that right now. I'll leave that as an exercise for you to do. It's going to take me a while to do that, and this is already getting to be a long video. This is what you need to know in order to do 3.1. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you later. Goodbye.